Hello, welcome to Tier Nerd. This is another tier list. This time it is for the Saga series. It's not a very well known series, but a super fun RPG series that's very unique, with a unique leveling system and a whole bunch, mechanics and non-linear gameplay. It's just it's a bit of an acquired taste, but definitely fun for some JRPG veterans. So first, I'm going to start with the Saga 1, 2, and 3 right here. So they're called Final Fantasy Legend here. That's because in America, when the game got localized to America, they called them Final Fantasy Legend because they wanted to make the game seem more popular. So they slapped on the Final Fantasy name, even though it wasn't a Final Fantasy game. But in reality, they are the Saga games. So they came out for Game Boy. So first we have Saga 1 right here, Final Fantasy Legend. So I had a lot of fun with this game, and let's see. I think I'll put it. I'm not sure. I think for now I'll put it in B tier, and I'll see where I put it later. But yeah, just like a lot of first games in franchises, it's simple. Simple concept, easy to play though. Fun. There's variety in what characters you can choose, and how they level up and everything. And it was a pretty fun concept, and it's a pretty short game. You could beat it in like a day or two. Now, Final Fantasy Saga Two, Saga Two, I had even more fun with. I think I'll put that in A tier. They just improved on everything and added more variety to the classes, and it just became, it was even more fun. Especially like the robot class was pretty cool. You could add a whole bunch of stuff on it, give it super high stats, and it was just a really fun game. Beat it in like maybe like 2 days maybe. So I like these two. Then there's Saga 3 now. This game, a lot of people say like they like it more than the other two. I actually think it was the worst. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It was just kind of bland. Beat it. You just play it, and there's a lot of mechanics. Like you can switch your race and your class and all that. But I mean, I beat the game without ever even doing that. I just played the game like a normal RPG, but it just seemed kind of basic, and there wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't. It didn't really draw me in. It was just kind of average. So I'm just gonna put it in C tier. So the Saga 3. Then now the romancing saga games, those really picked it up. They got even more fun and unique, and you had all these different character paths you could choose. And so this is romancing saga 1 right here. This cover is from Minstrel Song, which is the PS2 remake. I never played that. I just played the Super Nintendo version, so that's what I'm reviewing, the Super Nintendo version, and I had a lot of fun with it. I think I'll put it maybe like low A tier. I don't think it's higher than Saga 2, but I did have a lot of fun with it. It's either up here or maybe like high B tier. Um, just a very unique game, like if you get tired of the, you know, um, traditional JRPG, the Saga series is just very different, very unique outlook. Now the music's great. I will say the Saga games in general have great music, especially some of the later games like Saga Frontier and Saga Frontier 2. But they do kind of lack in storyline a lot of times. There are some Saga games you just always felt like they could have done more, especially like Saga Frontier and Frontier 2. It felt like they were just rushing through the story when they could have done so much more with it. But yeah, so that's just a general overview of the Saga series. Now, Romancing Saga 2 right here. This one's like S tier, maybe like low S tier, maybe high A tier. I'm not sure. I think I'll put it in S tier for now. It's like this is probably one of my favorites in the series. I played it on Steam about 2 years ago. I think. When it first came out. I played it on Steam. I couldn't find a good fan translation, so I just decided to wait, just buy it on Steam, and it was really fun. So yeah, there's it's very interesting. You get to play through several, through several like generations of characters, and you can inherit their stats, and just it's everything. It's just a very interesting concept, on a game. And it's kind of hard, just like a lot of the Saga games tend to be hard. And I would recommend using a guide if you're going to be playing these games, because they can get kind of tricky. So Reminiscing Saga 2, I did like everything, all the side quests, and it took like 60 hours. I did all this stuff and had a lot of fun with it. So this is really fun. I think I'll put it in S tier for now. Romancing Saga 3, um, I did not like that much. I think I'll put it low B tier. I think I still think it's better than Saga 3, but Romancing Saga 3 wasn't that great. It didn't really stand out in any way. Felt kind of generic. A lot of these games felt like it felt kind of incomplete, rushed in a lot of ways too. Um, so yeah, like there's just nothing really that stand out for me. And then like I mean, good music obviously, but they all have good music. So Saga Frontier is one of my favorites. I don't know if it's my favorite in the series. It might be my favorite in the series. These two are pretty. These are top contenders probably. Saga Frontier and Romancing Saga 2. So I'll put it in S tier for now. This game's really fun. Like 7 different characters, and you choose different paths. And it's just very interesting. And they all have different final bosses. So it's like 7 little RPGs, and yeah, and just very interesting stories. They're all kind of rushed. They're all little stories that are kind of rushed. But I just really like the whole game, like the design and battle system. It felt kind of smooth, even though it was kind of hard. These two games were difficult, but they're smooth. There's a correct way to make a hard game. Some games are hard and annoying where you have to grind a lot. Some games make grinding fun. Like these are the types of games that grinding it's kind of fun sometimes. So I definitely recommend Saga Frontier, and then Saga Frontier 2. Saga Frontier is Frontier 2 is an interesting game. Like the storyline had a lot of potential. Like this could have been like the best storyline of Saga Frontier 2, but once again, it felt kind of rushed, like a lot of Saga games. Like Gustav, like there's just so much that could have been done on his character, and just a very deep storyline, a lot of depth. Great music. This is probably one of my favorite soundtracks. I think Saga Frontier 2 and Final Fantasy 11 are probably my favorite soundtracks, like in general, of RPGs. I think I'll put it in high A tier because it's got some flaws that kind of keep it from S tier, but it's still a very solid game, I think. It just the battle system and the mechanics of it are a little more clunky. You still got the whole generational thing, kind of like with Romancing Saga 2, but it didn't have that quite that polish, I think. So I'll put it in high A tier. Still very solid game. And then finally, I'm adding Unlimited Saga. So these 8 games I've played. I've beaten. I played and beat. Well, Unlimited Saga, I've attempted maybe 2 or 3 times, and I never played it for more than 2 or 3 hours. This game is terrible. In fact, it is so terrible that I'm going to add a new row. I'm going to add an F tier for this game, just because it is really that bad. And it's not just me. If you go to GameFAQs, if you read reviews on this game, everybody's going to tell you this game's awful. Like there's very few people that love it. This is like a masochist's game, really. Like Final Fantasy 11, for example, is also a masochist game, but it's a fun masochist game. Final Fantasy 11 can be fun, even though it's a bit excruciating sometimes. This game is excruciating, and I don't really see how it could be fun. Just everything about it. The mechanics are just awful and weird, and everything about this game. The music's good, and the graphics are kind of cool too, but everything else is terrible. It's almost unplayable, really. It was not play tested. It's just really bad. Just a very unique game, completely outside the box. Like use a guide. If you play this game, definitely use a guide. Like I used the guide and I still gave up. Like it's very hard to keep your attention with this game. So, and I never, so I haven't played any of the newer Saga games. There have been a lot more made since, Limited Saga, but this one's an F tier. I never finished it, but like, I don't know if I ever will. This is just, I added it in just to show that it's an F tier. The other Saga games are great though. And unfortunately, Unlimited Saga was the first Saga game I played. So since the first game I played was bad, it made me think the other Saga games were bad. So it wasn't until 2 or 3 years ago that I actually started playing the Saga games, because for a long time I thought they were awful, but they weren't. They were actually great games. It's just that Unlimited Saga was the first one I played, so it just ruined my opinion of the franchise. So just make sure, sometimes a game can ruin your opinion of a franchise, and that also happened to me with Suikoden also, which I'll talk about in another tier list. But so yeah, that's it. This is my tier list of the Saga series.